Hello and welcome to the Taylor Street Community Legal Service Divorce Workshop. This is part 2, Service of Documents. Before we get started, we'd like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which we meet and recognise their continuing connection to land, water and community. We pay respect to elders past, present and emerging. It is important you understand at the outset that the material contained throughout this presentation is provided for general information and educative purposes and is current as at June 2020. The content does not constitute legal advice or recommendations and should not be relied upon as such. Appropriate legal advice regarding your personal and specific circumstances ought to be obtained. By way of an overview, the information contained in these slides are current as at June 2020. The workshop contains an overview of service and the ways you can attend to it, and a step-by-step guide to the e-filing process, that is the online process. The forms in the workshop have been completed using the details of a fictional person, John Simpson. When completing the forms, you should put your name and relevant details in the application instead of those contained in the slides. What is service? Service is the process of delivering or posting court documents to a party after they've been filed in accordance with the rules of court. Its purpose is to ensure that all parties have received documents that have been filed with the court. If you have made a sole application for divorce, once it's been filed, you need to attend to service. If you've made a joint application for divorce, then you do not need to attend to service. There are time limits that apply to serving your divorce as follows. If your spouse is in Australia, the documents must be served at least 28 days before the court hearing. If your spouse is overseas, the documents must be served at least 42 days before the court hearing. Now, there are 2 ways you can serve your divorce: service by post or service by hand. You should only attempt service by post if you are confident that your former spouse will sign and return an acknowledgement of service document to you. If you are not confident they will acknowledge receipt or they do not return a signed acknowledgement of service to you, then you will need to attend a service by hand, as the court must be certain that your former spouse has received the documents. If you choose service by hand, please note that you cannot serve the documents on your former spouse yourself. Instead, you must arrange a person over 18, the server, to serve the documents on your former spouse. The person can be a family member, friend, or professional process server. Getting started. You need to have the following documents printed from the Commonwealth Courts portal: your application for divorce with the court stamp on it, your affidavit for e-filing application for divorce with the court stamp on it, and marriage and family separation brochure. If you don't have those documents already saved to your computer and printed, log into the Commonwealth Courts portal, download and save them and print them so you have them ready. You need to download from the Federal Circuit Court website, which is accessible on the link provided on the screen, the following documents: an acknowledgement of service, divorce, and depending on what service method you choose, either an affidavit of service by post for divorce or an affidavit of service by hand for divorce. To download the documents, go to the Federal Circuit Court website, which is the link outlined, and click on Forms and Fees. From there, click on Divorce. Once you've clicked on the Divorce tab, you'll see a number of documents that you can download. The relevant ones for the divorce and service are as outlined: acknowledgement of service divorce, affidavit of service by hand for divorce if you intend to serve the documents by hand, affidavit of service by post for divorce if you intend to service by post, or an affidavit proving signature for divorce. We're going to start with the acknowledgement of service for the divorce, so click on that link there. You'll come to this page that says Acknowledgement for Service of Divorce. Here you download the docked version, so if you click on that link that says Download, and this is the Acknowledgement of Service Divorce form that will appear once you download it. Okay, completing the acknowledgement of service, it's fairly straightforward. Over here you can see that there's file number. Okay, so you need to get that from your application for divorce inserted. On the left-hand side, you need to select what court you filed the material in. In John's case, it was the Federal Circuit Court of Australia. You need to go through and then complete Part A, which is details of the applicant. So you can see it's John Simpson in this example. Part B, details of the respondent, that is the person that's going to be served. In this example, it's Mary Simpson. Date documents were served. You can leave that blank if you don't know what date the documents will be served, and it can be completed by the respondent when they do receive the documents. And what documents were served, it's important you ensure that you serve the application for divorce, the marriage, families and separation brochure, the affidavit for e-filing the application for divorce, and any other relevant applications that you may have filed with the court in support of your application for divorce. Once you've finished completing the document, save and print it. If you're electing to attend a service by post on your former spouse, then you'll need to write a letter to them. Here is an example of a letter that you can use. It is important that you include in the letter all documents that you have lodged with the court when making your application, save for the marriage certificate and application for reduction of court filing fee. In John's case, we've included the sealed application for divorce, the sealed affidavit for e-filing application for divorce, marriage, families and separation brochure, and the acknowledgement of service. Once you've completed your letter to your former spouse, print and sign your letter. Put all of the enclosures in an envelope. Don't forget to add a stamped self-addressed envelope for the acknowledgement to be sent back to you. If serving by post, attend to posting by way of registered post and keep a record of the date you post the document. Wait to receive the returned acknowledgement of service. If it is returned, proceed with drafting an affidavit of service by post. If it is not returned, you will need to proceed with service by hand. The affidavit of service by post is a document that looks like this. Okay, completing the affidavit of service by post. Start up here with the file number and you can get this from the application for divorce. Over here you need to complete what court you filed the documents in. Then move down. Part A is details of the applicant, being yourself. You can put in your given name and family name. In this example, it's John Simpson. Part B is the person served, being the respondent, and in this example, it's Mary Simpson. You need to insert the postal address of the respondent at item 3. Item 4, you need to insert the date of posting. Item 5, you need to insert what documents were posted. In John's case, it's the application for divorce, the marriage, families and separation brochure, and the affidavit of e-filing the application for divorce. If you filed further affidavits or further material in support of your application for divorce, you'll need to list them here. Item 6 is acknowledgement of service signed. This is when, if you've received the acknowledgement of service divorce signed by the person, you need to check this box and you need to make sure it's attached to this affidavit. Completing the affidavit of service by hand. This is a document you need to complete if you're going to have someone personally serve your former spouse. Okay, let's go through how you complete the document. Remember to insert the file number, and this can be taken from your application for divorce. Here, you need to select the box of the court in which you filed your application for divorce. Move down to item 4. You need to insert the person being served, that is the respondent. In this case, it's Mary Simpson. And at item 6, you need to complete the documents that are being served. In John's case, it's the application for divorce, marriage, families and separation brochure, and the affidavit of e-filing application for divorce. Remember, if you filed any additional documents in support of your application for divorce, such as affidavits, they should also be listed here. As for items 1, 2, 3, 5, 7 and 8, these need to be completed by your server. The document is to be signed by the server in the presence of a qualified witness, being either a solicitor, justice of the peace, or commissioner for declarations. If you are electing to attend a service by hand, here is an example letter of instructions that you can send to your server. Just remember it is an example, and if there are any other documents that you have filed in support of your application for divorce, then they need to be inserted in your letter. Remember to collate copies of the documents to this letter and either post and/or email it to your server subject to their preference. Then wait to receive the documents back. Affidavit proving signature for divorce. Once you've received the documents back, you need to prepare an affidavit of proof of signature. This is what it looks like. As I just mentioned, if you recognise the signature on the acknowledgement of service as being that of your former spouse, you need to complete and sign this affidavit. When completing it, just remember to insert the file number, which can be obtained from your application for divorce, the court in which you lodged your application for divorce. Part A are details of the applicant being yourself. In this example, it's John Simpson. Part B is the acknowledgement of service signed by the respondent, so the respondent's details need to be inserted here. Part C is a signing clause. You need to swear or affirm that the facts set out in this document are true and you recognise the signature on the acknowledgement of service divorce as that of your spouse. Please note, before you sign this, you must do so in the presence of a qualified witness being either a solicitor, justice of the peace and/or commissioner for declarations. You also need to take the acknowledgement of service document with you when you sign this, as your witness will need to cite it. If you do not recognise the signature, seek legal advice. In the event that you're unable to locate your former spouse and/or your server has been unable to serve your former spouse, you can apply to the court for substituted service or dispensation of service. We recommend you seek independent legal advice if these circumstances apply in your case. Once you've received the documents and they have been signed and witnessed, you need to return to the Commonwealth Courts portal on the link shown in the PowerPoint and sign in. Once you've signed in, you'll come back to your welcome page. It is here you need to go into available files. Click on your application for divorce. You'll then come to a page that's shown as this. Here you need to click on Add Document. A pop-up box will come up and ask you to confirm obligations. After you've read and understood, tick the box and press Continue. Okay, you then come to this page here. Where it says Document Type, you need to go to the drop-down box. You can see that there's 4 arrows. From the 4 documents with an arrow, select the one you wish to file. Where it says Filed on behalf of, select your name as the applicant. Upload the document by pressing on the Choose File, and when you have selected the completed signed and witnessed document, press Upload. You will receive a confirmation which you can save and print. Repeat these steps for the balance of the documents which you are required to lodge. If you have children under 18, once you have successfully filed the documents on the portal, you then need to prepare for the hearing. For tips and suggestions, see our Preparing for Divorce hearing workshop. If you do not have children under 18, once you have successfully filed the documents on the portal, there is nothing further you need to do, nor is your appearance at court required on the hearing date. In closing, we would like to acknowledge that some information contained within this presentation has been taken from the Family Court and Federal Circuit Court websites. Both websites have a wealth of information and also do-it-yourself guides which we recommend. If you still have questions or require legal advice specific to your individual personal circumstances, please call us here at the Taylor Street Community Legal Service on 4194 2663 to book a free 15-minute legal advice appointment. Thank you for watching. We hope the information contained during this seminar has been helpful.